Welcome in. It's the Early Wedge. I'm Rick Gehman, and we are on the eve of crowning a new U.S. Open champion. Jason Sobel joins me from Oakmont. Jason, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Rick. Fun day of golf. We had some fireworks there at the end, a lot of volatility, and I cannot wait for tomorrow.
Yeah, what was mostly like a par battle from the final 3 or 4 guys for most of the round ended with some great shots, some circles on the scorecard, and it's shaping up where we've got 4 men under par. They will go out in the final 2 groups. 3 of them are looking for their first major championship victory, and 1 is looking for that ever important validation major, going from 1, to 2. Of course, I'm referring to Adam Scott, and then we haven't even talked about anybody else. So there's a lot that could potentially shake out tomorrow.
Absolutely, and I think it might be between those 4 players. The last 2 groups, the 4 men left standing under par through 3 rounds. But Rick, I will give you a little warning here, and I think I've said this every year on Saturday night at the U.S. Open for the last 20 years. Back in 2005, I get it. Long time ago. I'm old. I've been doing this a long time. I don't believe, and I had typed a lot of words that week. I had spoken a lot of words. I don't believe the 2 words Michael and Campbell had ever come out of my mouth or my pen or my laptop the entire week. And he went out there and won on Sunday after Jason Gore and Retief Goosen and Tiger Woods and Olin Brown were all in the mix that year. So I'm just throwing it out there. I don't think it's coming from anyone too far down, but I'm just going to say the name Rasmus Njergaard Peterson, just so it came out of my mouth and just in case something weird happens tomorrow.
Wow, I love that. Okay, he is 2 over par after shooting his second 69 of the week. We'll focus most of our attention on the big 4, but I'll give you the first guy outside the big 4 because he shot one of the rounds of the day, a 67. It was Carlos Ortiz. He is the first man outside that group. He's about 22-1, depending on where you are looking. And this was just a splendid display of ball striking from Mr. Ortiz, who was flawless until he put a bogey on the card at number 18. He certainly was not alone in doing that on the final hole of the day, but Carlos moved himself up at least into shouting distance of this championship.
Spoke with Carlos after the round, and the one thing that got me, Rick, is the fact that he's played in 9 previous major championships. He's missed the cut in 7 of them. This is unfamiliar territory for the man of Torque GC, and yet he's just treating it all like, no big deal, just up there at another golf tournament. I do like his poise. I like his confidence right now. He probably needs something in the neighborhood of another 67 just to have a chance, but we've seen that it's out there, and we've seen that he can do it. Stranger things have happened.
His best previous major championship finish is like a T52 or something like that. So we are very much in uncharted territory for Carlos Ortiz. He's not alone in that conversation because Victor Hovland is looking for his major championship maiden voyage, but he's had a couple of close calls. Oak Hill, he was in it for a very long time. He keeps himself in play because of his great ball striking at major championships. He sprayed a few off the tee today here, Jason, but he hit some shots that will definitely go on the highlight reel if he ends up winning this thing.
I don't think I'm going, out of order to say that I think Victor Hovland has the most talent of anyone up on this leaderboard right now, that when it's all said and done, that he might wind up being the best player. That's saying a lot, that Adam Scott has had a tremendous career. I want to go back to something you just mentioned there. 2023 PGA Championship, Oak Hill. I saw something change like that in Victor Hovland. Victor was always this happy-go-lucky guy. I'm out here playing golf, having a good time. I'll go sightseeing on my days off. And, he was just having a good time out here playing golf. I believe it was the 16th or 17th hole of the final round. He was within shouting distance of Brooks Koepka, and he left one in the bunker. Made I believe a double bogey and sort of took himself out of the golf tournament there. Directly afterwards, I saw a look on Victor Hovland's face, a scowl that I had never seen before. And I said to myself at that very moment, this is a guy who's going to change. This is a guy who's all of a sudden going to go from, playing professional golf and I make lots of money and, I have lots of high finishes and it's really fun, to I'm going to dig deep and I'm going to start winning some of these big time events. Remember, within a few months, he was the FedEx Cup champion. He went out and had a really, really strong summer, especially those last few events, winning the BMW Championship and, of course, the Tour Championship, which gets him the FedEx Cup as well. I still think that some of that is lingering for Victor Hovland. I do think that those changes took place 2 years ago. I think that he's taken things a little more serious, maybe too serious at times, working on his game to an extent where he thinks he has zero confidence. Last year, he told me before the PGA that he almost didn't play because his game was so out of sorts.
Right.
He contended the entire week. He has not said that this week. He seems more confident in his game and his swing. And the wedge game is what's really impressed me. Yesterday, he was the leader in the entire field strokes gained around the greens, which I'm not sure we could have said ever about Victor Hovland, even for a single round. And the fact that he's chipping it better now, the shot on 17, I guess we wouldn't really call that a chip, but man, was that a delicate shot that he hit terrifically to about 2 feet and taps in the birdie there. So he's got it in him. He's 3 shots back. It's going to take something a little special.
Yeah, 62 yards from the thick rough on 17 on kind of the awkward side of the hole, hits it to 2 feet 9 inches, taps it in, and makes birdie. He is one of 4 men who are currently under par. The co-round of the day belongs to Adam Scott, who shot a 67 after making bogey on the first hole. He was splendid after that, Jason. And I love the way that he finished this round, because we were talking about it. Like, you know, JJ Spaun's going on his 12-hole par streak, and Sam Burns is just making par everywhere, and Adam Scott's making par everywhere. And then all of a sudden, Adam Scott birdies 13, he birdies 14, he birdies 17. He's pumping them out there at 45 years old at 186, 187 miles an hour worth of ball speed. And he has earned himself a spot in the final group at the U.S. Open tomorrow.
So I know, Rick, you always put on Twitter on Saturday nights the brain, the heart, and the money bag. And I'm going to get to that in a little bit, because I might have 3 different picks for those, but I'll give up my heart pick right now, and it's Adam Scott. I think it would be such a cool victory for a guy who's as classy, if not classier, than anybody else in the game. I mean, Adam Scott was running around just about half an hour ago. He wanted to get out to the range. I said, do you have time for like 2 minutes, 2 questions for SiriusXM? And he said, yeah, sure, let's do it. And I mean, this was not like I asked him a question, he gave me a 2-word answer. He sat there with me for about 4 minutes and answered the questions in full. In fact, I want to read one of his quotes here. He said, I really haven't been in this position for 5 or 6 years or feeling like I'm that player, but that's what I'm always working towards. If I were to come away with it tomorrow, it would be a hell of a round of golf and an exclamation point on my resume. Rick, I have said many times over the last couple of years that 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when he's talking about that, you know, the last time he really challenged for one of these, I thought Adam Scott at this point in his career, he turns 45 soon, I would have thought he would be a ceremonial type of golfer. Show up for the majors and a few other events, try to win something, but not working at it. He's going to go home, go surfing, hang out with the kids, not be into playing golf at this stage of his career. He has worked very hard. I've been very impressed by him for a long time, because he really hasn't got the results. He said to me that he's been average for a long time now, at least average as to his standards for himself. And so for him to go out and play some really good golf, like I said, it's a tremendous story right now. I think a lot of people are going to be rooting for him. If there is going to be a fan favorite at Oakmont tomorrow, it's got to be Adam Scott.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, what is the distribution of support at Oakmont amongst these 4?
So I don't think there's a villain here. You know, there's not a polarizing player where everyone's like a Brooks Koepka, I guess Bryson's not even that polarizing anymore, because most people are rooting for him and not against him. Phil Mickelson, maybe. I don't know who Patrick Reed. But there's not a guy that everyone's rooting for. So I think that Adam Scott's going to have a majority of the support, but this is not really a partisan crowd. This is a very good golf crowd. We haven't heard too many shouts from the gallery. I mean, yeah, okay, here and there we're going to hear them, but I've been very impressed with just how the people of Pittsburgh have reacted towards having this major championship, and I think it's been a really good week as far as that, and I expect them to, like I said, cheer all the good shots tomorrow. If JJ Spaun wins, not like they're going to boo him, but I think Adam Scott probably gets the biggest cheers of anybody if he is to win. Yeah,
seems like a solid sports and golf audience that we've had in attendance this week. JJ Spaun will play alongside Viktor Hovland. JJ, as I mentioned, rattled off 12 pars in a row from 5 through 16 before making a birdie on 17 and a bogey on 18. I think the most impressive thing that I can say about JJ Spaun this week is he's played fairways and greens, and also he has been the guy went out Thursday morning and was the first round leader. He has been in the oven the entire week, and he hasn't blinked yet, Jason.
Very impressed, Rick. Look, JJ Spaun is a guy that I've looked at in the past as a guy who's nervous, anxious. He, in fact, said that to me after the opening round. He goes, I'm going to be really nervous tomorrow going into this thing with the lead because I've never been in that position before. I was impressed with him at the Players' Championship, hung in there. Quite frankly, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Won that thing on 18 in regulation on Sunday. Had to go back for the playoff the next day and lost to Rory McIlroy. There's no shame in that. But the way he's hung in there, not coming from behind, not just kind of hanging on there. He's had a target on his back pretty much, and he has preached patience. Literally every single player. I've talked to a lot of players this week. Every single player, Rick, has used the P word. They've said patience. That's the one thing you need at Oakmont. You've got to be patient. JJ has said it more than anybody. JJ Spaun has talked about patience the entire week, and he's done such a good job of that. You see that par run there, like you said, 12 in a row. You can't do that without being a little patient out there.
No, absolutely not. Just never played himself into trouble and took his lag putts and made a couple of clutch par saves along the way. So we've got Viktor Hovland at 1 under, Adam Scott at 3 under, JJ Spaun at 3 under. The last man under par, and the man who will enter Sunday with a one-shot lead is Sam Burns, thanks to a 1 under 69 in which he put on another display of unbelievable iron play. He has now gained at least 3 strokes on approach in each of the last 2 rounds, which is just an incredible thing to do at a U.S. Open. Sam Burns, add him to the list of guys who would be getting their first major championship victory, but it wouldn't be his first victory. Jason, 5 on the PGA Tour and a very close call, a playoff loss last week in Canada.
Yeah, in fact, I asked him about that yesterday because, look, not all wins, not all losses are considered the same. Sometimes you take a lot of positives from one. Sometimes it's more of a negative because you feel like you should have got it done. I don't think anyone would blame Sam Burns for hanging his head after last week. Sure, he shot 62 in the final round just to wait around for a few hours and get into the playoff, but he had, a 5-6 footer at one point during that playoff that the best putter on the PGA Tour usually makes and probably should have made. And he missed it. He wound up losing to Ryan Fox on the 4th extra hole. I asked him about that experience and what it's meant to him this week, and he said 1,000% that's been a positive experience. He said, I never thought I was going to get into that position. So just to shoot a really good round on a Sunday afternoon, to get into the playoff, all good things, all good vibes. And I just think that mindset for Sam Burns has served him really well this week. I mean, he could have come here Monday, Tuesday, still been hanging his head and, drowning his sorrows over the fact that I should have won in Canada last week. It's now been 2 years since my last win, and I can't get one. I mean, there are a lot of players. You look around up and down the range at the beginning of the week, there are a whole lot of players who are hanging their heads, good players, over the fact that they haven't won in a few years. Sam Burns could be one of them, but instead he's got a lot of positive momentum right now.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because the common refrain was, oh, he missed a 5.5 footer. He should have won. It's like the dude shot a 62 or whatever it was, a round of the day to get into the playoff. Let's not forget about that. His game is in a great place. There was a lot of stoicism. There was a lot of guys who did not blink over the course of the final 12 or 15 holes. I thought that we'd be sitting here talking about Ben Griffin for a few moments, Jason, because he got this thing under par before really struggling late. He bogeys 14, 15, 16, birdie 17, and then makes a double on 18. He's now in a tie for 11th. He's 4 over par. The last 2.5 months or 3 months from Ben Griffin have been life-changing and career-changing. This is the very first time I've been disappointed in Ben Griffin, and it's a Saturday at a major championship. I think I can forgive him.
I can tell you he's hanging his head right now because he was oozing with confidence yesterday. In fact, a reporter asked a whole bunch of players before the week began, would you take even par right now and sit in the clubhouse for 4 days? And almost every player said, yeah, I think I would. I think even might do it. You know what Ben Griffin said? Ben said no, but for two reasons. One is he thought that under par would take it. He goes, I'm not out here looking for third, fourth, fifth place. That wouldn't matter to me. I want to go win this thing. He said, secondly, I want to play. He said, I don't want to go sit in the clubhouse for 4 days. We got a chance to play Oakmont in the U.S. Open. I want to be out there. I want to be playing this golf tournament. I want to feel the struggle. And I love that attitude. I love everything about the way Ben Griffin has played lately, except for those last 5 holes today, at least 4 of the last 5 where he really struggled. Look, can he get himself back into this thing? Probably not. He's 8 shots back, and that's going to be a little too much to get back from a bunch of good players in front of him. And for as much volatility as there is on this golf course, meaning you can make birdie on any hole, you can make bogey or even worse on any hole, there's not really that much volatility in the scoring. So, Rick, I just don't see it being like Ben Griffin or somebody else from further down the board shoots a 64 tomorrow and all the guys up top shoot 74. I just don't think there's going to be that kind of swing.
Yeah, Ben probably needs the round of the day and some help from others to get himself in the mix. Well, the odds makers have laid the numbers. We're 54 in, and I want to go through those with you, Jason, and discuss the possibilities. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
And we're back. Our friends in Las Vegas have laid the odds out, and they're calling it a 4-horse race. Sam Burns is plus 175 to win the U.S. Open. Adam Scott, 3-1. J.J. Spaun, plus 333. Victor Hovland, 6-1. Nobody else shorter than 20. So clearly a drop-off there from the big 4 to everybody else.
Yeah, and look, I mentioned your usual social media thing you do on Twitter every Saturday night, which I love. And do you mind if I borrow this, Rick?
Please,
I'm
my
ask
God.
you in advance.
Please do it. I'm dying to hear.
Okay, so I already said Hart goes with Adam Scott. I love JJ Spaun, by the way. JJ might be one of the nicest guys on the PGA Tour. I would not have a problem with him winning, other than I get the fans would kind of be like, JJ Spaun doesn't do a whole lot, doesn't really move the needle, but such a nice dude. He told me he can't wait. Like, if he actually wins on Father's Day, his 2 little girls, they're 4 and 2. They run out on the 18th green. There won't be a dry eye in the entire house. That said, Hart is with Adam Scott. The brain's with Sam Burns. The brain tells you, look, this guy has been rock solid tee to green, and he's the best putter on the PGA Tour. That's a really difficult combination. I'm going to throw in one other asset that Sam Burns has that doesn't get talked about enough. Travis Perkins, his caddy, played on the PGA Tour for a season, didn't have a great career out here, but he's a very good player, and they work really well together. And he helps strategize around the golf course with Sam so well that I think that's a massive asset. So the brain is with Sam Burns. The money might go towards Victor Hovland. That final hole bogey really put him behind the 8 ball a little bit. If he stayed at 2, I'd like him a whole lot better. Of course, if he stayed at 2, he probably wouldn't be at 6-1 right now. He'd probably be closer to 3-1, 4-1. That said, I think Victor does have the firepower to go out there and shoot something 2-3 under par and make this thing a pretty close race.
I definitely prefer him from the chase position, which, I think back to, what was that, 2022 Open Championship, where him and Rory just made a bunch of pars and got caught by everybody, right? Just trying to defend everybody off. He is an incredibly aggressive player, sometimes to his own detriment, but he will be able to lean into that on Sunday, trying to make up a couple of shots. So I do kind of like him from the chase pack, but I'm with you. I think that Sam Burns has been the best player this week. I'll go back to it one more time. Thursday afternoon, he played his final 4 holes in 5 over. So he could be a lot worse than this. He could be a lot better than this, right? A lot of guys would have packed it up on Friday. He could easily have a multiple shot lead going into the final round. I think he's been objectively the best player here. The skill set sets up really well. I think Sam Burns is going to do this thing.
Yeah, and I know the putting stats haven't been as good for Sam Burns as you might think. I mean, if I had told you at the beginning of the week, Sam Burns is your 54-hole leader, you might not be surprised, but you would be surprised if I told you he ranked 16th in putting for the entire week. Number one is J.J. Spaun. I don't think J.J. Spaun's missed anything barely inside 8 to 10 feet. He's been rock solid with that putter. But the fact that Sam Burns has that to rely upon, I think that's just another huge asset for him. And the fact that he knows, like, hey, let me be a little aggressive with this shot. If I've got a 20-footer, I can lag it pretty easily. If I've got a 10-footer, I make more of those than anybody else. And I do think that being able to fall back on that is going to be something that he's going to be able to do tomorrow.
I'll circle back to the beginning of the week. The total score, the winning score prop was 278.5, which is 1 under is basically the line there. So if you think it's over 278.5, it's got to be 1 under or worse. We've got 2 guys at 3 under and a guy at 4 under. So I imagine the underside of 278 is a heavy favorite right now.
Yeah, you were looking good until it started raining here last night.
Yeah, you really were.
Scores, man.
We had 3 guys under par. 3 guys under par yesterday. Now we got 4 guys under par.
Yeah, Oakmont fast and firm on the weekend would have been so much fun with these whole locations that they're putting out there. But look, you can't do anything about Mother Nature. One thing I've really come to like over the last couple of years that I've noticed, Rick, and I guess golf has always been this way. This is me, just a personal thing, but I love when golf tournaments, especially major championships, evolve over the course of 4 days. Mm-hmm. That what you get on Thursday morning isn't the same thing as Sunday afternoon. It's just whoever plays in those conditions best is going to win the golf tournament. I love the fact that these players have had to adjust over the course of a few days. This isn't like what was the Masters 2 or 3 years ago, where essentially we've got 4 seasons within 4 days. It's not that drastic, but just the fact that the course is softened up, that the rough is getting a little thicker. I like that players have to adjust. You almost have to play a different golf course, sort of like if we took 4 different great golf courses in the area and said, okay, we're going here Thursday, here Friday, here Saturday, here Sunday, and you've got to adjust to the conditions. And that's what the guys at the top of the leaderboard have done best over the weekend so far.
Well, it's shaping up to be likely a 4-horse race, unless someone wants to play spoiler or we want to get carnage at the top of the board. 3 of them have never won a major. 1 of them would be looking for the first major championship in 12 years, which would be a record. So a likely historic moment coming from Oakmont on Sunday. And of course, we'll be here when it's all said and done. Jason, any final thoughts? Sunday should be a lot of fun.
My final thought is that you didn't give your pick, Rick. Who are you going with?
If you made me make a bet, I'd bet on Victor. If you just said in it like who you think is going to win this golf tournament, I think all the numbers and my brain point to Sam Burns.
Yeah, same. I'm exactly the same camp as you on both of those.
Yeah, I just he's been great, and he's been brewing on this for 6 weeks, and I think it's about to come. I think it's coming through here.
I will say, and just so I don't sound like after the fact, like I got everything right before 3-4 years ago, I often said Scotty Scheffler, Sam Burns, good buddies, kind of came up together. I don't see a whole lot of difference between the two. I think they have similar skill sets. And, well, that's completely changed, obviously. Scotty Scheffler is the best golfer on the planet, and Sam Burns is trying to get over the hump to win his first major championship. All of that said, I've thought Sam Burns is going to be a very, very good, like elite level professional golfer for a very long time. You can say he's probably second tier right now. This might jump him into the top tier if he's able to win a U.S. Open at Oakmont.
A lot on the line. 18 holes to go. We'll be here. Big thanks for now to producer Josh, who does all the hard work behind the scenes. That's Jason Sobel. I'm Rick Gehman. This is The Early Wedge. We'll catch you next time.